Good evening and welcome to another edition of Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, broadcasting live via SHR Media and streaming live on Facebook. Tonight is an abbreviated edition of Money Talk with Melanie, just 1 hour this evening with the return of the one and only Mike FitzPatrick, cybersecurity expert and founder and CEO of NCX Group. Very excited to have him on this evening, and welcome everybody to the Facebook chat. Very excited to be back here today. Welcome John Campbell, sponsor, one of Money Talk with Melanie's sponsors from Biz Social Personal Touch. And man, there's so many people in the Facebook chat. The feed is running too fast. And welcome back, Mike FitzPatrick. It's been so long since you've been back on the show. And I'm very excited to just be back on the air with you guys. I've been so very busy. And the reason the show is abbreviated actually is because for the second time, Money Talk with Melanie has been invited back to the National Publicity Summit in Manhattan, New York tomorrow. So I will be exiting early this evening to make it to, hey, Joanne Harper, my sister from the National Federation of Republican Women. Welcome. Hi, Robert Houston. Money Talk with Melanie has been invited back to be a featured show at the National Publicity Summit in Manhattan, New York City tomorrow. So I will be attending the National Publicity Summit and featured as a panelist, as an expert. Apparently they think I'm an expert for a successful podcaster. So people will be asking me questions. Me and other panelists. So I'll be headed to NYC this evening to get myself well rested and ready for that tomorrow. And I have truth be told, I have a test to finish putting together for my foundations class. They probably think that I forgot about it, but I did not. I'm like 75% done. So I have a test to post for my college class tonight. So as per usual, I'm a busy girl. Robert Houston, I know I owe you a phone call. I'm gonna try to call you tonight as well, maybe from New York. We'll see how my evening goes. By the way, I want to, if you notice, I have a new mug. Check out the new mug. I want to thank my sponsor, John Campbell. You can see this from Biz Social Personal Touch. How cool is this mug for my lovely gift? Says Business Diva, Melanie Collette on one side, and Biz Social, wait, I want to make sure you can see it if I get the right angle here. Biz Social Personal Touch on the other side. So you guys know I love my mugs. So this was a gift from John Campbell, and I appreciate it very much. Nice, big, healthy mug. I actually just have iced tea in it because it's kind of warm today. It is nice to see you again, Robert Houston. I know I've been MIA. I have to tell you guys, I try not to tell. I know you guys probably think I have my whole life on Facebook, but I really don't. Try to keep my business private. And I am normally super busy, but I've been more busy because I have I don't want to make it sound super serious because it's not. I have a chronic condition that I'm being treated for. And my doctor thought it would be a good idea. He found this new therapy that he thought would make this condition better. It is not super serious. It's not death dealing or anything like that. But the therapy requires that I go to his office 5 days a week. So in addition to my regular busy schedule that's already really busy, I go to my doctor's office 5 days a week now. It's only for like 5 to 6 weeks, and I'm in like week 3. So I've been really, really busy. So if it seems like I've been MIA and like not on Facebook as much as usual and just kind of not quite on top of my game, that's why. That's why, because I have to go to my doctor's office 5 days a week. But I promise you guys, it's nothing serious. It's just something that my doctor thought would improve my health. but something that I've been dealing with for years. And he's right, and I feel good. I am very blessed, and God willing, I will live to be 150 and be running my mouth for a good long time. But I wanted to let you guys know that, and that I have. Looks like the weight loss program is working. Hey, what are you trying to say? I was fat? No, I'm just kidding. Isn't that typical woman response, Robert? Instead of just saying thank you. I was just kidding. Listen, I'm a woman. I'm perpetually trying to lose weight. Like that's, it's a constant, I'm always. But I just wanted to let you guys know that. So for those of you who have been filling my inbox and saying hi and stuff, and you feel like you're being ignored, I swear to you, I'm not ignoring you. I have just been busier than usual because I have to go to my doctor's office every day. Right now, I literally have like 35 text messages. I haven't been doing my Money Talk Minute because I've been going to my doctor's office 5 days a week, in addition to doing my regular stuff with the Federation of Republican Women and teaching a college class and doing the show and trying to, keep my sponsors happy and take care of my health. So it's just been, really busy. I wasn't going to tell my doctor. No, my doctor's like, I really think you should do this. I really think you're going to be, it's just going to improve your health drastically. And since my insurance covered it, I decided to go ahead and do it, even though it was going to take a significant amount of time. Robert Houston says, by the way, it was either the Melanie show or the 5. I chose Melanie. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that was a tough choice. Heck, I would have chose the 5. No, I'm kidding. Wait a minute. Before we go to a commercial break and a brand new Ron Edwards notebook, how about the president? The president, I struggle with the president being super petty, but I think part of the reason is because he does the things that I would want to do. Because today he was like, since sanctuary cities seem to love illegal immigrants so much, maybe I'm going to send them to your city. Why were they so mad? I don't understand. I tend to agree. Like, you all love illegal so much, have some. But apparently it's not going to happen because it's highly illegal. But I just had to get that out. I just had to get that out. We have a slew of wonderful guests coming up in the next few weeks. And I'm also going to get back to sending out my newsletter soon. And all the wonderful things that I do on a regular basis, like the Money Talk Minute, as soon as I get my health tightened up and my doctor thinks that I'm in tip-top shape, which I am. Like I said, I'm feeling good. Everything is fine. This was really just a matter of improving on what was going on. And he was like, there's this new therapy. I think you should do it, but you have to come to my office 5 days a week. And I know you're really busy, but I think you should do it anyway. And since I'm the one with the medical training, how about you do that? So I said yes. And I was like, but doc, I'm really busy. And he was like, yeah, but it's your health. I couldn't really argue with that. So here we are. All right. Enough of that. Brand new Money Talk. No. Brand new Ron Edwards notebook coming your way. And then when we come back, Mike FitzPatrick from NCX Security is coming. NCX Group Security is coming your way, and I'm sure he's going to come up with all kinds of stuff to scare us half to death and make us throw away all of our technology. So that's going to be fun. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. We'll be right back.
Once again, government school bullies seek to trample on parental rights. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, because of the abysmal quality of government school education, many parents across America have opted to homeschool their children. Homeschooled students traditionally benefit from a superior education and are not indoctrinated against America, God, or free market economics. So, parents in West Virginia are hoping that West Virginia Education Chair Representative Kenneth Mann, a Republican, and his Democrat cohorts, Senators Michael Romano and Ron Stallings, who proposed a law that would prohibit homeschooling and order CPS investigations if parents who had children who accrued 10 absences fails. In fact, the bill would treat homeschooling as abuse in order to increase government control over the decision-making process concerning where West Virginia students go to school, leaving parents out in the cold. This is yet another statist government official attempt to see how much more will sovereign citizens allow them to push forward with their evil agenda to indoctrinate all students. Thus, it is past time for parents en masse to stand up for their unalienable right to seek the best way to train up their children in the way they should go. I'm Ron Edwards. Join me live Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on AmericaMatters.us.
Right now, you can get the credit you deserve. Just visit MrCreditRepair.biz. Let their expert credit repair specialist remove late payments, charge-offs, collections, even old bankruptcies fast and easy. That's MrCreditRepair.biz. Why go anyplace else? Increase your credit score today. At Mr. Credit, you always get a quality service, all at our everyday discounted price. Stop getting turned down for cars, credit cards, or even new homes. Visit MrCreditRepair.biz today. That's MrCreditRepair.biz. Your credit repair is our #1 priority.
Making a living can be tough these days with so many jobs going overseas. If you love numbers and puzzles and want job security, you can become a tax specialist with an amazing 6-month tax course from Tax Mama. Operate your own tax practice locally or anywhere in the world where there are American taxpayers. It's a great way to write off your trips to visit family for months at a time. Everything you need to pass the IRS 3 special enrollment examinations is included in this course. Visit irsexams.school. And if you need more than 6 months, that's okay. Take your time. You're in the course until you pass the exams or until you unsubscribe and reject Tax Mama's emails.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, and our guest today is a regular here on Money Talk with Melanie, and I'm so glad to have him back. He's also a personal friend, which I am so glad to call him that. His name is Mike FitzPatrick, and he's an expert in all things cybersecurity and technology. Welcome back to the show, Mr. FitzPatrick. How are you, darling?
Hey, I am having a great day now. I finally get to talk to you, spend a little time with you. It seems like it's been forever. I feel like I've been in Facebook jail.
I know, right? It has been forever. And I tell my students about you all the time because, of course, I teach computers and I teach financial literacy and I teach, foundations of computer science at a university. And I talk about you all the time. And my university students are obsessed with AI. So they they're obsessed with AI. So they love talking about artificial intelligence and all of these things. So I talk.
The funny thing I was just going to say, I was just at the annual Poneman Institute conference in Tucson, Arizona, a little over a week ago. And one of the observations that we made related to artificial intelligence is the fact that a year ago, nobody had AI baked into their technology. Now everybody has AI baked into the technology. So is it real or is it just marketing fluff?
Now you're scaring me again. Okay, so let's back up just a little bit because we just kind of nerded out and just like jumped right in to AI. Can you just explain to the audience a little bit, those who may not be familiar with the technology, what AI is and what some of the applications are in our everyday life, like how it's used?
Okay, so artificial intelligence, I think the easiest way to think of artificial intelligence and what could be the worst of all things with artificial intelligence is Skynet from Terminator, right? So you think of, and so you really have 3 different forms of artificial intelligence, and you have AI, which is kind of where we are right now, but not really. It's more intelligent data mining. It's more trend analysis. It's more machine learning and adjusting. It's not intelligence as you and I would think of intelligence. Then you have the next form that we may see in the next 5 or 10 years is ASI, and that is on par with human IQ. So this starts to be interesting at that point. And then AGI, which is about 200 times human IQ, is the third step, and that's maybe 15 years out. But it's all moving exponentially. It's all adjusting in real time. There are AI, quote unquote, AI computers at MIT that are talking to each other in their own language that we don't understand right now. So it's a bit of a Pandora's box.
You
on
think?
one hand. Huh?
I said, you think?
A little bit. I mean, when you got guys like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Larry Ellison and folks like that are saying, no, don't touch that door. And then you've got China, for instance, that is teaching artificial intelligence programming to high schoolers currently that is fully ready to embrace artificial intelligence and wants to rule the world from an AI standpoint. You kind of have to meet them where they are too.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember movies like War Games, which back then, that was just, fantasy land of what could possibly happen. Like, oh, that could never happen.
Well, they use artificial intelligence and machine learning today for wargaming, for trend analysis, for those kinds of things. But it's not aware. It's not self-aware at this point.
Right. Supposedly. Like, I'm not sure if I believe, I'm not totally sure I believe it. Richard in the Facebook chat says, is there a way to hide my bank account and credit score from the most fearsome hacker in the world, my wife?
I'm sorry to say that's not possible. I have failed at it miserably.
That's funny. Yeah, good luck with that, pal. The most fearsome.
There's only so much that you can do.
Yeah,
kind of like football. You can only help to contain them.
They haven't invented that technology yet, pal. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But I mean, that's that is. But what about?
So where things get a little more interesting with artificial intelligence is something that I saw at the Ponemon conference a little over a week ago. And it was the first public presentation ever provided on this new technology that's from a company called Crown Sterling out here in Southern California. It's really, with all encryption is for the most part is mathematics based.
Right.
This is interesting from the standpoint that if what this particular individual has discovered from a mathematics standpoint is true, and it proves out, and it gets through peer review, he may have changed mathematics forever for us. I mean, no joke. This changes physics. It changes time and space relationships. It is no joke that math may have changed forever with this guy's discovery.
Now, there was a time when I would have said to you, it's funny that this is coming up now, and I hope we're not over nerding this conversation, but but there was a time when if you said that to me, I would have thought that impossible. But because of what I happen to be teaching now, this discrete mathematics as a foundation of computer science, and it's foundations, right? And it's all about how, and you probably already know this for the sake of the audience, it's all, part of it is all about how these people discovered ways of changing words into math, changing our regular language into mathematical computations. And that's how we got from English, so to speak, and I'm really oversimplifying it, but this is how I kind of present it to the class, how we got from English to mathematical computations. And you have to be able to kind of translate it in order to get to mathematical computations. You have to take steps. So I would have said to you that that's crazy, but there had to be guys, not guys, there were women who did it too. There had to be people who did this with math, who discovered that there were ways to do that. I would have not understood what you were saying and told you that you were crazy had I not started teaching this class. And now I'm like, this is, it's amazing. And the video that you showed me was incredible.
Well, and so this is really, it's intriguing from the standpoint, and you know, at this conference that I attended, it's invite only. It's 75 of the leading people in the world related to privacy and data security. And literally, Melanie, sitting at my table were 3 guys, all with PhDs in mathematics and physics, one from Harvard, one from Stanford, and one from MIT. Oh, and there was a 4th from Oxford. Big brain guys. And to say that they're skeptical about what this guy has come up with, his name's Robert Grant. He's the former CEO of Allergan. He was there at the creation of Botox that Allergan put out on the market. He's the former CEO of Bausch & Lomb, and he loves playing with physics and numbers for fun. And this is what he does for fun.
These people.
And about 10 years ago, I guess it is, they came up with this concept in mathematics of, and I'm not a math person, of quasi-prime numbers. And what he's been able to do in short is come up and show quasi-prime numbers are not only a reality, but they're infinite and they are predictable. And it's crazy what this means to the world of encryption. So right now, from an encryption standpoint, we're using 256-bit keys or 512-bit keys or 2048-bit keys. We're now talking about keys that are 1 billion-bit keys, 2 billion-bit keys, 100 billion-bit keys, etc., right? So you now, and he's going to use artificial intelligence in order to write music to create the key from the future as well as the past in the encryption algorithm, making it unbreakable. So it's really interesting. If everything that he says proves out to be true, as I asked one of the big brain guys, I said, let's stipulate that everything he says is true. What does this mean to you?
Right.
He said it means it changes everything we do in life.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And I feel like I heard about this. I think Sheppard did a report on this yesterday.
He's making the rounds. The original paper has been published through Cornell University.
Right.
And he is using it for his doctoral thesis at UCLA this summer.
Of course he is.
and yeah, like I said, he just does this for fun, evidently. But I just posted in the face chat the video for it if anybody wants to watch it. But it's really interesting and could absolutely change everything from a security perspective.
So I know I'm switching gears just a little tiny bit, and we're probably going to have to talk more about the. First of all, I love this, and if it was too, and I understand for those of you in the audience that are like, what in God's name are they talking about? I know, and don't feel some type of way about it, because that was like real computery.
Well, let me put it this way. Richard could actually keep his wife from using his credit card with this.
Yes.
Just
Yep. You definitely could. You definitely could. That was like super computery. So the class that I'm teaching is, and this happens all the time. Like, I'm asked to teach something, and sometimes it's in my wheelhouse, but I haven't taught that specifically. So what I'm teaching now, I've never taught before, but it's in my wheelhouse. It's fine. But I'm teaching like the circuit vending machine aspects of computer science. And it is so freaking interesting and fun. Like, it's so fun. Like, well, it's fun to me. I don't know if the kids are having fun, but I am. So
all I know is I mentioned the quasi prime stuff to my son, who's at college now, and he's going. And the first thought out of his head, well, Dad, if that's true, it changes. And I didn't even have to finish explaining it. He got it.
Right.
And so
yeah, that is like way. I have a ton of things running through my head right now. I can't wait to tell my class about it next week. And
the video.
And like 4 of my super nerds are gonna start talking way over my head, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, because there's 4 kids in my class that totally have a higher IQ than I do and know much more about this stuff than I do. They probably know more about it than you do. I'm like, okay, you guys are way out of, yeah. They're gonna be like the next, Steve Jobs or something. And there's always a kid like that in those classes. There's always at least one like super amazing kid in my class that just needs to get the paper and get out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's always one. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave you to just do the problem and get your A and get out, please. Because honestly, I don't know why you're here. Just get the paper and get out. But here lately, I wanted to ask you about this because President Trump has been talking a lot. There's been a lot in the paper and the news about 5G and about how much faster it's going to be. But it also apparently subjects us to a lot of security risks. And so, at least from what I'm hearing, there's concerns about having it over here, even though it's supposed to be, I don't want to say better, because I know better is, can be in the eye of the beholder if it presents certain security risks. And also, from what I understand, it presents infrastructure challenges as well. It's not like when we had 3G and 4G where all you had to do was tweak a couple things. Apparently, there's quite a few infrastructure. You need more infrastructure is my understanding of how 5G works. Like, we can't it's not a matter of just putting up a couple more cables or something like that. Like, we need to do more to get 5G, but there's also some security concerns.
Well, okay, so security, I'd have to do some research into it. 5G is going to be a phased rollout, so you're going to have something that's kind of a quasi, using the term quasi, quasi 5G that's coming out now through Verizon, through AT&T, through T-Mobile, and Sprint here in the States. Right now, there's no phones that actually support 5G.
Okay.
So you've got this improved bandwidth and things like that. And from a marketing standpoint, there's going to be improvements. The concern from a security standpoint with 5G is allowing Chinese companies to have the contract here in the U.S. and their ability to spy on voice and data calls. from a security perspective and capture those calls and capture that data because they're running through their machines. It's no secret that the Chinese, through computer manufacturing and laptop manufacturing that they do now and ship back to the U.S., that there's chips within those computers that actually allow them to monitor and spy or surveil, if you want to go with the Democrats' choice of words, on companies, on deployments of computers and things like that. The chips have been found. I mean, there's no secret here.
Right.
So I think that Trump is, wanting to stay with an American company, Qualcomm, related to that, to make sure that it's an American company that's installing these systems into our environment. The thing that I would be concerned about with 5G is going to be the radiation that comes out of those antennas. That's going to be the concern that I would have. Really?
And do you mean antennas like towers that are being built for those? Or
yeah. I mean, there's massive amounts of radiation that comes out of those towers now. They really haven't conducted a test here in the United States for probably 10 years now on the effects of those antennas. They have in other parts of the world, and the results are not good.
So, that brings about a question. So, they have not done any studies as far as like cancer hubs and them being anywhere near cell phone towers? I mean, they do the studies about water and things like that. They don't do similar studies around cell phone towers?
They have in other parts of the world. What
but not
they're relying on here in the United States is a study that is 10 years old at this point, older equipment, older technology,
right,
that didn't show cancer clusters, whereas in Europe and Israel and other countries, they're doing the studies with newer equipment, and the results are not good.
Now that's very sad. That's what
It's one of the things that I saw as a planning commissioner when I was a planning commissioner where I live, and so it's but you try to introduce it into the discussion and you can't because there's not a U.S. based study that has been done in the last 10 years on this subject.
And of course, there's absolutely no incentive to do it because there's so much money involved.
Bingo.
Me and a friend that you know very well, one lion chaser, we're talking the other night about we're chatting the other night, and the subject of the Palm Pilot came up. And remember the Palm Pilot?
I did a throwback Thursday not more than 2 weeks ago with my picture. I still have a Palm Pilot.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I probably have one somewhere in a drawer somewhere. I loved my Palm Pilot. He had one too. We were talking about the Palm Pilot, and I was saying that I kind of miss having my smartphone separate from my phone. That was kind of the ideal situation. But then,
so here's a question. The term phone seems so adequate for what we carry around right now. Should we rename it? It's really not a phone.
It really isn't. But then isn't an iPad basically a Palm Pilot?
No.
I don't know. That's what I concluded the other day. I said, well, maybe an iPad is basically a Palm Pilot, like a really extravagant Palm Pilot. I don't know. But I kind of miss. But the Palm Pilots were everything. Like I just feel like they were perfect. I I don't know. I miss it though. I miss you had a battery. You had to worry about charging it. You know, when it went dead, you put a new battery in, and everything was fine.
Life was simple.
Life was simple. You had the little stylus. I'm sorry to take everybody. If you're younger, I think younger than maybe like 30, you have no idea what we're talking about. But I'm telling you, the days of the Palm Pilot were pretty good days. I'm just saying, because you don't remember the days where all you had was a day timer.
Oh yeah, I love the days of 300 baud modems and that silly sound it made when it connected.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm from the days of the electric typewriter. I mean, I learned to type on a typewriter. I'm just saying, like, and my hands are not big enough really to learn to type from a typewriter. So just Doug Paz in the Facey Chat said AI just went totally backward. It did. It absolutely did. And I actually had something else in my mind and I wanted to ask you about that was super high tech. And I don't know how I got back to the electric typewriter, but I totally did.
I don't know, but I just found my Palm Trio.
Did you find
phone that they had? I got it here in my hand.
Listen, that thing was fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. That Palm Pilot was fantastic. The Palm Trio, it was everything. You kept it separate. I kept it in my work bag, and it was handy dandy. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know. I mean, I love my iPhone. Don't get me wrong. I would die without it. But
that gets you to Alexa quicker.
That's what I wanted. Thank you for bringing that up. That's what I wanted to ask you about. Because I heard yesterday that apparently, and I know that you're going to be shocked to hear this, that apparently Alexa, Amazon employees are listening to our conversations. And
no.
Well, Mike, they're only doing that for technical reasons so that they can understand our conversations better for programming purposes.
The funny thing is, and I say this in presentations, right? And that is the East German Stasi would be totally amazed at the level of surveillance that we accept willingly and we pay for the privilege of having.
Yeah.
We do it. I mean, how many people in the audience have a TV, a flat panel TV that they've purchased in the last 5 years that has a camera in it that's connected to the internet? So there's somebody somewhere on a server somewhere listening to what's going on in your home and watching you walk through the house, get coffee. So these things matter.
Watching me walk through the house and get coffee?
Get coffee, yeah.
What do you mean watching me walk through the house and get coffee?
Because if there's a camera in the TV, they can see you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? If
Michael
has a camera in it, and it's connected to the internet, Mel, you have people that have access to it.
Michael?
Yeah?
I'm not always dressed to go to a board meeting when I get coffee. Do you know
Most people aren't.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Most people are not.
I don't usually have on a 3-piece suit and heels when I'm going to the kitchen to get coffee. If you know what I mean. And I think you do.
The thing here is, it was really funny. Several years ago, Microsoft came out with a new Xbox One, and it was going to have a camera with it, and it would facially recognize whoever came into the room and say hi to you. And there's a bunch of, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys that I was working with at that time in Boy Scouts, because my son was in the troop, and we were talking about this on the way up to Zion National Park for a week of camping, and the opinion that these 12 and 13, 14-year-old boys had on being surveilled by Microsoft with their Xbox One made it absolutely an unviable system for them. They were not buying that system. They were going to go to a PlayStation 4. It was so bad for Microsoft that they quit making the camera as part of the package.
Yeah, because nobody wants to see what boys do in their rooms by themselves at 12 and 13. Believe me.
Yeah, no one wants to see anything. The point is, we're allowing surveillance in our homes, whether it's through Alexa, whether it's through Google Home, whether it's through a Samsung television, or more importantly, an Android device, because it is always listening, and they use that to teach their AI engine about people. See how I tied that together? So those things matter. I mean, it comes back to the thing you and I talked about time and time again, and that is security, privacy, or convenience.
Convenience.
Which matters more? And we are selling our soul for convenience.
Oh boy, that's really bad. I don't think my TV. I think my TV is older than 5 years. I think. If it isn't,
is it Samsung? Because Samsung, for a number of years, every TV that they put out had a small, tiny camera in it.
No, but if it isn't, somebody's been getting one hell of a show every morning. That's all I'm saying.
There's some guys back in Korea
who have been having a great time every morning. That's all I'm saying. Wow. I mean, really, that's ridiculous.
This is such an issue that there's actually a hack that is used within corporate boardrooms on those TVs to gain access to the microphone and camera in boardrooms to spy for corporate espionage.
So, okay, so how are they viewing? Like, is it like, you ever heard of the website Chat Roulette? You ever heard of that website?
No.
Yeah, be glad. So because I'm trying to imagine, like, how would they look at this stuff? Like, do they just log into someplace and look at the cameras? Like, how would they access that data?
Okay, so all right, so let's look at it this way. Everything that's on a network has what, Melanie?
A server.
An IP address,
right? And an IP address, of course, right.
Okay, so everything's got an IP address.
Right.
Just like your mailbox in the front of your house,
right,
have an address.
Right.
Right? So Google, when you do a search on Google, there are website addresses on Google.
Right.
There is another site out there called Shodan that actually is a search engine for everything else. Webcams, any other type of IP address that isn't a website. So whether that's IoT sensors, whatever it is, you can do a search on Shodan and find this stuff.
Are you kidding me?
No. So, I mean, you find the IP addresses. If you're a bad guy and you're scanning an IP range within a company, that television set's going to have an IP address within that company. You use Nmap and a couple of other tools to locate, what is what and sort through this stuff. And then you just run the hack against that particular Sony television, and now you're in. It doesn't turn on the little red light to tell anybody that you're recording, and you just listen. Watch and listen, maybe record.
That's wonderful. Really.
Special, isn't it?
That's really wonderful news. But now the only thing is, somebody would have to, they would have to work really hard to do that, right? Like, somebody would have to be going after you, wouldn't they?
It all comes down to what the adversary is looking for.
Right.
And I think one of the things that businesses need to start thinking about is wargaming. they have to understand who their adversary is. Who is that attacker that might want information out of their business? Because the reality today is, somebody someplace wants what you have, and it's only a matter of time before they come get it.
And from a personal perspective, you would just be surprised who views you as a threat. That's,
well,
like I know personally, just in the circles in which I travel, I find myself often surprised when something happens, and then somebody who's a friend of mine will say, well, that person views you as a threat because of X, Y, Z. And I'll say, like, well, why is that person acting like that? Why did that person do X, Y, Z? And, a friend will say, well, that person views you as a threat. And I'll say, well, why? And then, a friend will list all the reasons why. And then I'll say, oh, okay, well, I suppose that makes sense, but why are they handling it this way? You know what I mean? That's a strange way to handle it. But if you're, in certain circles, this is the way things are handled when you view someone as a threat and you're crazy. So,
The interesting thing is, I guess maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I was at DEF CON in Las Vegas, and this is before they moved to a bigger venue. This is when it was, the real DEF CON hacker conference, and it was underground, it was cash only, no names, you couldn't register for the conference, all of those things. And one of the presentations that I went to was given by the gentleman that headed up Cyber Command for NATO. And it was on vulnerabilities and risks. And I'm going, okay, well, this is kind of the stuff we do. So let me go see what they're viewing as risks, right? What the threat. The most interesting thing that came out of that was the fact that NATO and governments, their number one threat in the world to them is our anonymity, not knowing who we are.
That makes sense.
So the biggest plus for them out of 5G is going to be no more anonymity.
But that's the biggest threat to our freedom.
Yes.
Right. But it's also, but in a way, Mike, and this is the conundrum for us as a constitutional republic, it's also the biggest threat to our safety in a way. If we don't do things like maintain our borders, which is a different conversation probably for a different show, but
Well, it's interesting. I live 45 miles from the California-Mexico border. Deal with it every day.
Right.
Our local hospital loses $4.5 million a month.
Wow.
In illegal immigrant indigent care. Schools are overcrowded. It's just, there's an impact.
Right.
And, the funny thing is, those of us in California and that live close to the border have been harping on this for the better part of 30 years now. And it's only getting important because now it's migrated up to states like New Jersey and New York, Michigan. It's now across the country. It's not just here anymore. But anything with cybersecurity, you have to defend. You have to understand who your adversary is. What do they look like? What are they after? You have to war game your protection scenarios within the business and how you respond to a threat. That's something that we're going to be adding this year, is actual wargaming for customers.
Oh, wow.
For our business clients, and going through and really wargaming what they respond like, who is the attack, where is it from, out of China? Is it out of Ukraine? Where is it from? How can we gain visibility? What are the steps that we need? Those are all things that you have to think about in the battle that is cybersecurity. Going back to war games, like what you were talking about with the movie, do you want to play a game? There's so many business people that think that it's kids in a basement eating pizza and having fun.
Right.
And it's not. It's organized crime. It's state-sponsored actors.
Exactly.
It's nation states.
Exactly.
I mean, so don't even get me started on the whole threat that the power grid is.
Well, yeah, we've talked about that before, and it's still not taken care of.
No, I mean, it's still vulnerable to EMP and other types of attacks.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, we're up to the close of the show. If anyone has a business and they'd like to avail themselves of your services, how can they do that?
Best way is go to the website, www.ncxgroup.com, ncxgroup.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at NCX Group on both of those platforms. We've got a couple of new things that we're going to be announcing here in the next week. We finally have, I think, developed a small business offering that is cost effective, that actually provides some value. And so I'm excited about that because we are we are very rapidly approaching a point in time, Melanie, where small business is not going to be able to afford to secure what they do online because of the skills gap, the talent gap, and the cost of personnel and technology to deal with this stuff.
Sure.
So there has to be a solution in that space. Every
time I look at that offering on my website, I'm always like, the risk. You know what I mean? Every time, the risk. It's a risk. I can do it through a third party or something like that, but still, it's a risk to do it through my website. So it's always a dicey proposition. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're gonna put you on for May. ASAP. I'll talk to you soon about getting you on a May date.
Awesome. It's good to be back in circulation again.
Indeed. Nice talking to you, darling. Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
Yep. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. That was the one and only Mike FitzPatrick, cybersecurity expert and founder of NCX Group Security. Did a fabulous job as usual. I want to thank you all for listening. Thank everyone in the Facey chat, and of course, thank my sponsors, Biz Social Personal Touch, the Tax Mama. She is closing in on April 15th, which I'm sure she is very happy about, aka Eva Rosenberg, and of course, Robert Houston, Mr. Credit Repair.biz. Thank you all very much for supporting the show. And I want you all to remember that this is all very important because after all, it's your money. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.